Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Chuck and Lisa Show. This is Chuck. That's Lisa. Say hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
That was fast. This is our fifth, sixth show, I guess, that we've done. Lisa suggested I start this show by going over how you get to join us in the Patriot Journalist chat room.
Well, not only that, but like if you're listening another day, why some of the stuff doesn't make sense.
Okay, explain that a little.
Okay, so my sister said, who are the people that you're talking to during your show? And I said, they're on the timeline. And she said, there is no timeline. I said, that's because you're listening on YouTube 2 days later, and you can't see the timeline.
Right.
So, in case we're going, hey, Jerry, hey, Dershie, hey, whatever, those are people that are in the chat room right now while we're doing the show. But
right.
If you're listening to it on YouTube or watching it, whatever, then
see, we want you guys to interact with us on the...
So,
come join us.
So for right now, go to the website, be on the timeline, send us a message, we'll talk back to you until we get the whole call-in thing figured out. Then, later on, when it's on YouTube, it'll make more sense because it'll be like, hey, I'm Fred, I'm calling into your show to say you're stupid. And then we'll be like, hey, Fred, what's up? And then you'll know, like...
That's a great example.
Right.
That's probably what we'll get after the time.
Or say, I love you, Chuck, your wife's a bitch.
That would never happen.
That would never happen.
No, of course not.
It never has.
Never in the
never
world.
will.
Nope. I don't believe it.
But anyway, so that's the one thing. Also, the other thing is, you keep forgetting to tell people who we are on Twitter, which is why this whole thing started. Well, not me and you, but
that's
the
true.
whole
I do need
show,
to promote it more.
Which I am Louise, Laweez, and you are. I'm not sure what you are anymore. What are you now?
What am I again? NASCAR.
Oh, if you can't find Chuck on Twitter, go to my Laweez, because I never get suspended, more or less, and look him up there. And whatever his current iteration of Chuck is, it will be there. It will be there.
The reason Lisa's telling you that is because Twitter has a nasty habit.
3 times?
Oh my goodness. A nasty habit of killing off my accounts.
Right. So if you can't find him and you haven't seen him for a while, you don't have to follow me. As a matter of fact, I'd probably prefer if you didn't follow me, but if you're Chuck's friend, but if you want to, you can.
Yep.
But if you can't find him, at least go on my profile and it'll say I am blah, 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 his wife, whoever Chuck is at that particular time period.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, Jack and Twitter, they don't love me a lot, so that happens. Alright, so yeah, if you want to join the show, first of all, you need to be on the PatriotJournalist.com, of course, if you're listening to this later, so you can join us next week. It's PatriotJournalist.com/Chuck Nellis. Okay? And then when you get there, you have to join. And it's a minor little process, and then you just pop on. Can you explain the process? I can't remember it.
Right, and we won't... Who, me?
Yeah. Do you remember how we logged on to there?
I have no idea.
I don't
Once
either.
you make an account, like, you're in. And we're not going to steal your info. We're
Right.
not going to send
Right.
you anything by email.
Patriot Journalist is a real
We're not
reputable site.
we're
That's
not
why
gonna-
we're here.
We don't really.
Coach
not,
Prasek is a really
we're not
good guy.
doing anything with your info.
Right.
So just
We're not
make it
doing
count.
anything with your info. We're just having you come join us so that you could chat with us because we like your company. Let's see. So, do you think I talked about that enough, Liz?
No, you forgot to tell them who you are on Twitter.
Oh, right. I am at. No, I'm not at Chuck Nellis.
No,
If
you're
y'all-
not.
if
Not
you're
anymore.
If you're on Gab, you would see at Chuck Nellis.
You'll never
But
see me
on
there.
Twitter, you will see NASCAR Chuck 336.
All one word.
All one word.
And again, if you can't find him, just go to mine and look at my profile.
Don't,
No, I don't mean don't follow me. Like,
No,
seriously,
no,
don't
I-
follow me. Just saying, if you can't find Chuck, and he seems to be disappeared for a while, just
That
go
never
to my
happens.
profile, and it'll say, whoever you are on that day,
Right.
that's your current account.
Right.
So,
Yeah, Lisa's always my backup because she's
Yeah.
a liberal and Twitter will never make
Well,
her disappear like they make me disappear.
I got suspended one time.
Yeah, for
12
how
hours.
long?
For 12 hours.
And what did you tell? Was that one of the times
actually-
you told Trump to F off?
No, not even ever. No,
Isn't
not
that,
even
I mean, you
close.
could tell him to F off every single day.
Used to. I used to retweet Olbermann all the time.
If I
You
did
know what
that,
I got in trouble for?
I'd be gone.
I got in trouble for saying some little cartoon kid, like not even a person, a cartoon, should kill themselves if they ever became president or something. I can't even remember like what the context was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about Trump. It was just like sort of like stop it now before it becomes president. And it was about a cartoon. And I got suspended for that.
That wasn't by
not-
chance
no.
the one with
It wasn't
the
about
stairs.
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't about Trump. It wasn't a comic strip. It was a cartoon character.
That's weird.
Somebody said something funny, and I said, "Oh no, kill it now before it becomes president," like as a joke.
Right.
And that's what I got suspended for.
I don't know. They take that.
And it was so far in the past
Yeah.
that I don't even remember what it referred to.
Right. I still don't know why any of my accounts got killed. Not just
Any?
No, actually, well,
Any?
the last one I do. That was because I said something about killing a beer.
Yeah.
Remember that? Killing a beer.
You're brutal.
I know. I am a mass murderer.
Apparently you can't
of
say kill
coffee
anything.
and
You can't
not
say
really
kill
a mass
anything.
murderer of beer, but I have
Do
had
they
my
still make
moments.
Killians? Because
Yeah,
like
killing. Maybe you could get. Maybe they'll suspend you from Twitter for saying Killians.
do they even? I don't.
He said kill.
I
Get
don't
him.
think they make it anymore. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, they do. I've had it. Killian's Red.
I know you've had it. That
I mean,
doesn't
recently.
mean they make it
No,
anymore.
I mean, recently I've had it. I don't recall where, but I did.
Speaking of beer,
Speaking of beer, I don't need a beer. I'll have
I'm not
all right.
asking you if you want a beer.
Yes.
What's that PBR Easy? Have you seen that?
PBR anything.
Okay, so I have a theory. I have a theory in the grocery store.
Yes.
If anything's next to the PBR in the beer aisle, you should probably not buy it unless you already drink it in the first place.
Probably true.
Because it's kind of like order. You know, like it's Hams and PBR and Keystone and whatever the Walmart beer is, and then it goes up to like Budweiser and Miller Lite, and then like the stuff they want to charge you a little bit extra for, like Sam Adams, and then it goes to all the foo-foo beer.
Oh, yeah. The IPA.
Well, the craft. I'm sorry, the craft
beer.
beer. The craft beer. But it's not all IPAs. IPAs
That's true.
is just a style of
That's
beer.
true. I know
What
that.
I'm
No,
saying
not
is,
good.
if the beer is down by the PBR,
Mhm.
then perhaps. In the bush. Then perhaps, unless you already like that kind of beer, you should probably not buy it.
Mine has gone from that section, the PBR, Bush, all
I
the way up
tried-
to the Heineken zone
I
all
tried-
of a sudden.
I tried-
I drink
well,
Yingling,
Yingling, yeah.
and it's
That's
an
not-
amber beer. It's a brown to amber light, I would say.
Why don't you read it off the can? Because
I don't
like,
have a can with me. I'm drinking
you're
coffee.
gonna mess it up here.
But it's
number one,
it's a gorgeous little beer.
Number one, it's the oldest currently
it is.
American-owned brewery.
Yeah,
because,
read it.
well, I'm not going to read that.
150 years, 190 years.
Yeah, but all the other American
And it's funny. It went from being like
amber
$12.99 or $10.99 a 12-pack to all of a sudden being $19 a case in each case. Not a 12-pack.
Okay. It's a amber lager. Traditional amber lager.
It's beautiful, that beer.
Don't pay extra for Sam Adams because Yingling
It really is better.
Except for the fact that they donated to Trump, so there's that.
Yingling donated to Trump?
I believe they might have. So that's either a plus or a bonus.
Well,
depending.
for a lot of people, that'll be a plus that listen to me, of course.
Right. It's not all about you. Come on, say it. Sing it.
I want to talk about me!
I hear this on a regular basis.
Yeah. Really, what you hear in our show is nothing more than us being us, because we basically do this stuff on any given day.
And it's not a shtick, it's just...
It's not a shtick. We're
Shut
just
up,
us.
Chuck!
And I just say, but I'm right. And Dershie goes, yep. All right, let me introduce the folks.
By the way, Dershie doesn't live in our living room, so you know.
Oh, we are in our living room. Laying next to us right now, on my feet, is our brown Cocker Spaniel, Sadie. Right next to her is our kitten, Dave, who's getting bigger than all the cats. And
he's Simba.
He is Simba. And then we've got Cotton, who's laying on the couch. And I don't know where the other two are, but they're usually close to us.
They're on our bed. They're on our bed laying on our clean clothes.
Well, that makes sense. Of course they are. Well, where else would they be laying on our clean clothes? Hi, everybody. Let me talk to the folks in the message room, which we want you guys to come join us on patriotjournalist.com/Chuck Nellis.
And ask questions.
And ask questions and talk to us. And all sorts of good stuff. You know, we'll do it. We'll tell you anything pretty much, unless it's rude.
Or personal.
Some personal's good, but some of it's just rude. All right, now Dershie says, my last account was killed because I told a liberal she was too ignorant to argue liberalism, so you can't possibly know anything about conservatism.
Oh,
I was gone 30 minutes later. Oh, and Jerry can't join us tonight. He's working late, I'm sure, again, right, Dersh? Jerry's a good buddy, lives in North Dakota. I think it's North Dakota.
I got nothing.
Minnesota.
Some places.
It's Minnesota.
Some places are really freaking cold. It's all like the same.
And with us is Coach Prasek. I always love that he joins us. He can help me out when I have technical guffaws, which I really haven't had lately.
Guffaw is not the word, but thanks.
What's the word?
Gaffs.
Gaffs. All right, we'll go with gaffs for 200.
Guffaws is like when people laugh.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
God, Alex Trebek would be so upset.
If Alex Trebek was listening to this show, I would be so happy.
It's past his bedtime.
He's my hero. I mean, the man is just a legend.
It's past his
bedtime. Don't get me talking about Jeopardy, because I've been a fan since...
before you were born.
No, right. Well, shortly thereafter, 1963, I think it was when the original show came on, and my mother put it on all the time.
Come on.
Bye, dogs. Doggies wanted to go outside. So did Dave.
Lasers.
So did Dave the dog.
Come on, Dave.
Oh, no, leave Dave. He's cool.
Oh, Dave doesn't bark.
Wisconsin is Jerry's. I'm sorry, I mixed.
Wisconsin.
You guys live up in the frozen tundra up north.
They have good cheese.
And to North Carolina.
What?
People like they live in the freaking north where it's cold as hell.
You know where they live?
Where?
Someplace I will never live.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, my friends from Nebraska who are not listening, but they're still my friends.
Jerry's got family in town, so he can't join us. Hi, Dennis. Welcome, buddy. Glad you could come join us again. Please spread the word, you guys. Let everybody know to come join us, because this is going to be fun. We're hoping next week to start doing call-ins, so you guys can interact with us, which will be even better.
Hey,
and then you will get the
can we change that
Dershie
picture because it's ugly?
You don't like that? Well, I think it changes.
I don't like it.
Hit play.
I don't want to hit play. It'll start playing REM again,
which
I love.
Have your system muted.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I got a question for Dershie. Or Coach or somebody.
Yes.
So when I was looking at the timeline after the show last week, all the comments were not in any sort of time order. They were all like
Oh, really?
random.
Also, they should race every week. And while you're at it, ask about that thing
Well,
up
they
on top.
don't though. What? Oh, we're sorry. We're not sorry.
We're building here.
We're not sorry.
We're gonna load extra features for you.
Don't apologize.
No, don't.
How about that? Please stand by.
We're happy to be here,
How about
dudes.
that? Please stand by.
Please. That's a good. I love that. Please stand by. We love having you guys here.
We're not sorry.
We're not sorry.
Sorry.
Anyway,
we're not from Canada.
New Year's Eve.
What?
New Year's. We didn't talk about New Year's yet.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
I thought we did.
No, we haven't had a show since then, have we? Oh, we have on the 2nd.
Week.
That's
Thank
right.
Thank you very much.
I forgot.
We talked about how immigrants were.
Oh, we talked about the party too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get. What'd you say, immigrants?
We talked about Nellis Island.
Oh, right. That was a good conversation, wasn't it?
By the way, we do have a page on Facebook called Nellis Island, which we never do anything with. But should anyone want us to do something with it, we could.
Yeah,
right
we
now
could tie
it's
that
just,
into the show.
Yeah.
We need to come up with more, and get things going. We're a young show.
We also would like to make coffee cups.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want to have a coffee cup, like Coffee with Chuck.
Yeah.
And
on the other side it'll say Obama still sucks. I'm kidding.
And then I will hit you with one. And then or alternately, you could have the mug that says "Cheers with Louise."
Yeah, right.
Which I'm sure nobody wants, but
why not? I think you're a hell of a lot better looking than I am. That's for dang sure.
Well, if I had a beard, I'd be scared, but okay.
That's right. I talked about Christmas last time. I didn't talk about New Year's last time so much.
We talked about we went to. Oh, well, maybe not. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, we didn't really.
Yes, we sort of did. We talked about Anderson Cooper Giggle. We didn't do anything.
I think we talked more about Key West.
We didn't. No, that was 2 shows ago.
I get so confused. Well, they all run together.
Welcome to my world.
Well, time. As you get a little older, time seems to go very quickly.
And then you got to write down who you've told things to because they're like, Mom, you've already told me that 3 times.
I know. We do that to each other, too. But you know what? That's just human nature, I think. Everybody does that. Good coffee. Anybody out there love coffee?
You want to talk about your not sponsor?
Yeah, my not sponsor, because they'd probably do it, but I haven't asked them yet. Black Rifle Coffee. Patriot owned, veteran owned, and the coffee is fantastic, to be honest with you. It's, I drink the high test normally, and it's just really good stuff, but they make like 7, 8 different varieties, I guess. And they sell it all sorts of different ways. I use K-cups because I'm like, give me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
2 minutes, a minute and a half later, I got my cup of coffee. Versus brewing it. You can get the single cups or whatever you want to do. Anyway, but you can't beat a good cup of coffee. I mean, I just can't imagine a day without coffee. Let's see. Lisa's out of the room. I don't want to start anything too radical as far as the conversation goes. What do you think, Lisa? What should I talk about next? What should I talk about next? Hey, Dershie, you guys tell me what you want to hear about. Dennis, tell me what you want to talk about. Try not to make it too political because otherwise we'll have a brawl. New Year's Eve was pretty chilled.
Well, what about,
we just hung around the house, but we had a good time. We had Bloody Marys at midnight. It was awesome. If you can't see oxygen, you need more coffee. Coach Prasek says, if you can't thread the needle of a running sewing machine, you need more coffee. That's true. Exactly. Coffee just makes me run better. But beer, really the 2 best uses of water let's get down to it. I mean, I'm obviously being my own biased, but coffee and beer. Water on its own is pretty boring. Coffee is delicious. Water on its own is pretty boring, but beer is awesome. So, what's your favorites? It's a new year. 2018 for some people was exceptional. 2018 for some people, they weren't such a fan. I don't think it was a bad year. I mean, it seems like a pretty average year. A lot of contentiousness. I mean, the whole country is arguing about everything. Everybody's complaining about something. There's always somebody that's upset. Whether it be left, whether it be right, whatever you want. There's always something going on. And it's always been this way. I was talking about politics the other day and the history of it. And there's never been an uncontentious time in politics in world history. And there never will be. But you try not to create civil wars, and you try to get along, and we try to keep this thing called America working. I know this is a tough time. A lot of people struggling with getting along. That's what I mean. All right, let me look at my screen here. Dershey, as I've said, coffee in your beer is the best. Well, like a shot of coffee shot down the middle of your beer like whiskey? And Dennis says, I'll tell you what, oh, right. Dennis was at Notre Dame for the Winter Classic between the Bruins and the Blackhawks. There was no fans kneeling. I couldn't. Somebody cross-check you in the stands if you kneeled, I bet. And I bet it was a great game. I didn't get to see it, but an outdoor hockey game just seems like natural. I used to play hockey on a lake across the street from our house in New Hampshire all the time, and it was great fun. I mean, by the time you got home every day, you were ready to fall down. Hi, Miss Lisa.
What's up?
Well, we were talking about coffee while you've been gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we have to talk about regular coffee that's not sort of craft coffee or whatever,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Caribou.
Mm-hmm.
Not the place where you go and you pay $5, but like the K-Cups. They're really good.
Yeah.
And also the Cafe Bustelo.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty unknown.
Cuban. Oh, it's actually sort of known.
It's getting better known.
Yeah,
You see them in the stores. They have a bright yellow and red or bright yellow and brown label.
Depending if you want espresso or Colombian.
Right, Colombian's the red one, espresso's the brown.
I don't. It doesn't. I don't know.
Or maybe I'm reversed.
Read the box.
Read the box.
Don't get the green one. It's decaf.
We're not going to go shopping for you. We'll just tell you what's good.
Although later on,
what?
We're going to have an Amazon site where we're going to stick all the stuff up that we like.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
That's what my friends do.
Except it's Amazon. Oh, we'll talk about their dollars.
Okay, not an Amazon site. Whatever. We're going to have a site
we'll figure it out.
Where we're going to stick all the links to stuff that we talk about that we like. And so then if you... And yes, it'll be like a small referral, but whatever. It's not like we're going to get rich or we're going to make like 5 cents if you click on it. You know?
I want 5 cents.
I want 5 cents.
It's
just going to be aggregated. Listen.
Okay,
I'm seriously, I'm going to stab you by
She's going to kill me. Go ahead.
It's just going to be aggregated. Just like, okay, so the sous vide thing.
Yes. Oh, right, back to your cooking.
Which we'll go into next week because I don't want to do it today. But so I'm trying to learn about sous vide cooking. So the guy is really smart because he talks about you should use this thing or this thing. I really like this thing or this other thing. He just put them all on one website. So if you want to actually just go find it, you can just click on it and there's no prices involved because, like he said, the prices change all the time. All he's saying is, like, okay, look, I like this container. I like this Rubbermaid container over this.
Hershey thinks you should use the Nellis Island one for that.
Yeah, so I might do that. So what I'm
put unique items.
Right, but what I'm saying is, and you have to say this, is if you click on the link, we are gonna make like 5 cents or.
We're gonna make like nothing.
We're gonna make
just
like
a little
5
more
cents.
than nothing.
We're gonna make like 2 cents, 5 cents. But anyway, I mean, it's going to be a referral
that's
link.
fine.
But that's what everybody does.
We're so honest, it's ridiculous.
We're
going to cost you a nickel. Oh my God!
No. The people are not going to pay any more money.
Right.
we're just going to get a referral fee.
Well, that's nice.
So nobody's going to pay any extra. So
Like
yeah,
if,
so
like
we're going
if
to
you
do
sell
that.
a house for somebody,
Yeah, you
they'll
don't pay.
get a house referral. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but only
Same
it's going to be
idea.
like 5 cents instead of $500. But oh yeah, by the way, I'm a real estate agent. If anybody wants to move to North Carolina, call me first, please. Thank you very much. This has been a paid advertisement.
Paid? Who you paying?
I give you a nickel. I give Dershie a picture, autographed picture when I can find it.
Hey, Dershie, that picture's coming.
It is.
Hey, Dershie got the, well, here, Tommy, not necessarily talk to him, but they were both on the phone today.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
My
Lisa's famous son, who's a
soccer
hawker.
player.
Yep, he was a professional soccer player, and he was
I don't
good.
even know.
He didn't play long because he got hurt.
I
and
don't
he was
even know.
good.
I don't even know if. Well, here's the thing: when he was being recruited and Ike was being recruited, and
Yeah.
Ike's in the MLS and he's not,
Right.
they were saying that Tommy was better than Ike.
Well, Tommy was amazing
So-
before he got hurt.
Right.
He
But
really
anyway,
was.
yeah. So.
I asked him today if he plays at all, Tommy.
You can't.
He said he said it's not actually the knee that's fixed; it's the other one. It's like me,
The meniscus one.
the one that I had fixed
Well, he
in
had
the
one.
Navy.
He had one with a.
It's pretty good, but the other one's kind of
Right.
wearing
Well,
a little bit.
well, yeah. If they fix your knee, usually it's
Well, I
better.
had 3 surgeries, so
Right.
yeah.
So
I wasn't
what
in the
about what's
Navy
his?
anymore.
Was it? Who was the guy in the NFL that got his knee fixed like 3 times? RG3? No. Watson? Who got?
Mhm.
Somebody. I don't know.
RG3.
Anyway, I'm making this stuff up. But so yeah. He
Yeah,
did
I
play.
think it was RG3.
I am allowed to claim that he was a professional soccer player
Yes.
because he did get paid for it.
Yep.
He also is on an actual roster with David Beckham
Isn't that cool?
because the Galaxy came to North Carolina
That was cool.
and played the North Carolina Railhawks, even though Beckham didn't show up and
Right.
Tommy
Is that the one we were at?
yeah, he didn't get to
Yeah.
play. But it doesn't matter. He's on
the
the
roster.
roster.
Yep.
And there's a literal quote from Landon Donovan. We are so tired of losing against Carolina because apparently they've gone there twice and they've lost both
Yeah.
times. So they literally
Tommy played for Clemson, by the way, in case anybody's
Yeah.
wondering.
right. Well, first of all, he
Full boat scholarship.
full ride.
Oh man,
Full boat.
that's what they call it. Full boat.
No, they don't.
That's what I've always heard.
Well-
Football players always call it that.
No, it's called a full ride, honey.
Okay. Well, I'm talking
Well,
about.
but
I'm
maybe
talking about the old days
maybe
back when I was young, honey.
Maybe in St. Croix they call it a full boat, but in America,
I love living in St. Croix.
right, but in America
Being in Key West brought
they
that right back out
they call
again.
it a full ride, and I don't know if people.
She says it's called both.
Well, not North Carolina. It's not.
Well, I'm not from North Carolina.
You're not from.
Hey,
You're not from around
I'm
here.
not-
Bless your heart.
I'm not from North Carolina, but
Anyway,
I'm learning.
Can I finish my?
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
Okay, so in soccer, in men's soccer, at least 10 years ago, whenever
Yeah.
11 years ago, 12 years ago. Hey, I'm old. So most of the time, people don't get a whole full ride. There's not that many scholarships per team,
Right.
so they tend to split them up and give a little bit to each guy. One of the reasons it was so cool that kickers are on the football team, if they're on the soccer team, is because they automatically get everybody. I know people know this, but maybe they don't. If you're on the football team, you either get 100% or 0%.
Nothing, right?
It's kind of like basketball. But
And
those
you
are
can
really
go from being a walk-on to being.
yeah. You can
scholarship.
get a scholarship
Right.
if you're a walk-on, but in soccer and a lot of other so-called non-revenue sports, they can just choose to give you a portion of the, say they have 5 scholarships and they have 20 guys.
Right.
You can get 50%, 20%, 10%. You can get books, food. You rarely ever get 100%.
Right.
I'm really not sure how this happened, but I think it was because Maryland wanted him really, really bad
Mm-hmm.
that the Clemson coach just threw out there, please come here, 100%.
Man. And it was the right time because
and-
they had just won the championship.
Who?
Didn't Clemson win the year before?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, they were horrible. No.
When were they good? They were good before
in the
that.
80s.
Oh,
they
okay.
were good.
Slightly before.
So Maryland was good. Maryland was good.
Right. Maryland was good.
Maryland was really good.
I'm glad he didn't.
Wake was really good. Well, obviously Ike was there, but Maryland was very sketchy. They would say, well, we can't.
College Park for free.
No. The coach is sketchy. The coach would say, okay, we really, really want you to come here, but we can't give you anything the first year. We can't give you anything the second year. The third and the fourth year, we can probably give you a ton. Well, if you look at the Maryland program, a lot of people only stayed 2 years. So basically, he was committing to nothing.
Right. That's
so. I mean, he would have loved to go there, I think, but it turned out well for him. He has great friends he'll have for life, great connections. He loves the place.
Right.
He had a great time. One of these days I'll find that video of him doing that bicycle kick against Boston College, who was ranked number 1 in the ACC on his birthday. That was really cool. He got to go to the MLS Combine. He has a lot of great memories. It's just his knees wouldn't cooperate, so.
I know that. I played a lot of sports until my knees got screwed.
But the other thing is, when he's feeling sorry for himself, I say you do realize you got to go to college for free. Ask your friends
that's pretty
whose
amazing.
parents aren't wealthy how much their student loans are. You basically were given a house.
Right.
If you think about
$100,000 at least.
Oh, more than that. But I'm saying you were given something that is the value of a mortgage.
Right.
And you got to go to school and you got your degree and do something with it. But
you know what? Tommy is. I'm going to talk about her son just for a moment. He's discovering he likes to do things, and this brings us back to that conversation we were having about not everybody needs to go to college.
Because what he did after he graduated, after he messed up his knees, and after he wasn't playing soccer, he worked for he worked corporate for.
Yeah, he was a tie. I wouldn't say suit, a suit, but a tie.
3 or 4 years, and he had benefits, and he had.
It was the corporate thing.
But he freaking hated it.
Right.
Hated it.
It's not for everybody.
Hated it.
I did it for a long time, and I really didn't like it.
Right.
But and then I got out of it.
Right.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Right.
I went to college. I did that, but management. He's got a great degree.
Well, they kept asking him to move up in this company. I'm not going to say the company. Right. They kept asking him to move up, and he said, "I really don't want to because I don't even like it here."
Right.
Well, he did for a while.
Right.
I think the corporate.
A lot of people do.
What happened was the management changed, and so for a while he could work at home a few days a week. He could have a lot more flexible schedule. So then they either sold the company or changed the management or whatever. And then they got really anal about everything, and they started writing people up, and it was just, and he's just like,
see, that's the corporate world, and I don't like the corporate world.
He was like, I got to get out of this place. So he did his research, found another job somewhere else. Although I think he was so desperate to get out of that one that he didn't really do enough research on the new one, and it ended up being a sort of
scam.
Well, it wasn't a scam.
It
was a more commission-based job than he realized.
And
then
he
was
kind of guy.
Well, not only that, he didn't realize that's what it was.
I loved being on commission. I did it for years, and I really it was a Jones for me. Every time I made a big sale, it was a thrill.
Right.
But it's not for everybody.
No, he's not a salesperson.
He's a quiet kind of guy.
He's not a salesperson. Just like he could easily, being with all the people that he knows from sports, he could easily get a job in selling insurance.
Right. Now, we're talking about Tommy, but this could easily apply to half of America, because there's a lot of people that aren't happy with what they do and want to do other things. And ultimately, you've got to do what's going to make your heart content through this life, because it goes very quickly.
Right, and instead
If
of
you
just,
look at my picture, I look like I'm not.
Well, no,
I'm 100 years old
but also
now,
instead
but I look
of-
good for my age.
instead of also just quitting that one and immediately going into another one that he didn't like,
Right.
he figured out that he told his friend, and his friend owns a construction company,
Right.
and his friend said, well, just come work for me for a while until you figure out what it is that you do want to do. So
And
now
ironically, he's figured out that that's what he wants
he
to
kind
do.
of like, is that what he says?
Well, he kind of.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind
like
of,
a master
yeah.
carpenter can make huge money.
Right, but he needs to
He-
stick
well,
with
it takes time to
Yeah,
do it.
right.
I mean, you
He's
have
not,
to be,
right.
be an apprentice, then a journeyman, then you
Right.
become a master, like
Well,
just like
it's
you do in
not,
plumbing
well,
or
it's
electrical.
not like Pokemon levels or anything like
No,
that.
I know,
mean,
but it's kind of
they
that
don't have
way.
names.
Well, I know,
They-
but
yeah,
in the
no.
other fields, it does.
Right,
It's kind of
right.
like
It's,
that.
yeah, it's not. They don't have names. For
No,
that
not
stuff.
like electricians
It's
and
more
plumbers.
like-
because it's not
It's
union
more like,
and all
here
that
I'm a
stuff.
carpenter and I can do all of these things.
Right.
This is how much you should
If you
pay
can
me.
do fine carpentry, big bucks.
Right.
Big bucks.
So anyway, yeah. But the only other thing is though, it is kind of hard on your body. So there's that.
Well, it is hard on your body, but
So there's that.
well, that's true. But with the nail guns and everything now,
Oh,
it's
no,
not like
it's
it's not like the. I
still-
know, but it's not like the old days where you were swinging a hammer all
no,
day.
but it's still like going
Now
up
it's
and
like
down,
boom,
up
boom,
and
boom. I know,
up and down the
But now it's
ladders. That does not. Don't make it sound easier than it is.
Well, it's easier than it was, but it's easier than it. It's not that easy of a job. You've got to be physically fit, and you've got to be pretty coordinated,
Oh,
really.
by the way,
you're in
there's
some pretty
yes, I
weird
know,
angles.
I know all about the Title IX. Trust me, I know all
Talk
that
about
stuff. No,
What's
no,
coming?
no. I mean, because
Oh wait, let me preface it. Will
I know,
Dorsey
I know.
says on the high school level in Florida, the Title IX related rules are worse than.
would you like me to read it so it'd be faster?
Yes, you do.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I do know.
I was just trying to
I
translate
do.
it more than.
No, I do know
Well, you
why.
haven't translated it yet.
I do know why. The men's were reduced because of Title IX, and it had to be the
Right.
same number of women's, and that's why a lot of the women. That's why, for one reason, women's soccer kind of blew up because there's no women's football, obviously.
Right.
So they had to give scholarships out somewhere, and so a lot of them were in women's soccer. Like that's why UNC blew
Yeah.
up in the early 90s or late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
So there had to be like an equal number of scholarships.
Right.
So they had to cut a lot of men's scholarships because there were so many in football.
Right.
And they even also, they literally cut men's sports. That's why
Yeah.
only, I want to say, wrestling in the ACC got decimated. I mean, okay. Hey guys, guess what? I have a letter in wrestling from Duke. Don't believe me?
She really does.
Don't believe me? Go to Duke, look it up.
You're
It's
on the wall of fame,
It's on
right?
the wall of fame.
She's on the wall of fame
in
at
the
Duke
Wrestling
Wrestling.
locker room.
It's really
and no,
true.
no, Dad, it's not because I was wrestling with boys at Duke.
Yes, you were, but he's
I-
not supposed to know that.
Well, no, that's not how I got the letter. So anyway,
No, it's not.
So,
Anyway,
yeah.
so read the second sentence of this thing. A
well, I have
female.
to make it scroll down because it doesn't always show up.
It's the last line there. Not to yourself out loud.
You read it out loud.
You just said you were going to read it out loud because I didn't read fast
I don't
enough.
understand why high school
All right,
matters for
this
Title
is what
IX.
Durst said.
So
On
I'm
the
not
high
gonna
school
read
level
it
in
because-
Florida, the Title IX related rules are worse. A female player that plays volleyball, basketball, and softball is only counted once, but a male who plays football, basketball, or baseball is counted 3 times.
See, I don't understand what Title IX in high school means counted for. I don't understand that part. Sorry. I thought it was only-
Funding. There she said.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Well, I don't think we fund anything anymore in North Carolina, so there's that.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, that's kind of. I mean, I'm all for other sports getting some money, but I don't know. Sometimes you kill the goose that laid the golden egg by doing that.
And then the girls don't get to play, so there's that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is the football makes the money for everything because you know how everybody is. They all go to the football games. Like we're in the South. The South football.
Are we really?
High school football,
Holy
even in North
crap.
Carolina, Not even necessarily Texas, which is what I'm referring to.
Oh, no, it's minor in North Carolina.
It's minor in North Carolina, but it's still a big deal. I mean, there's stadiums built just for the football team and stuff. I mean, little ones, but not like in Texas. Texas builds them like in like college.
Well, they got nothing else to do.
Well, Texas, they work. Working's good.
I didn't mean that. I meant as far as sports.
Oh, well, they got
the Cowboys. They got two.
Well, they got baseball. They got the Astros.
Yeah, but they have 90,000 million people for two sports. So they got to have...
Well, you got San Antonio. You got the Spurs.
That's not football.
That's basketball.
Right, I know.
And then in
All
Dallas,
right, so
they got everything.
5 teams for 90 million thousand people.
In Houston.
Okay, do the math.
Well,
they have to have high school football.
Right.
Because it's so spread out, they're not all going to go to, like, Dallas or Houston. Go to a game.
You're on the wrong page, by the way.
I'm not on the wrong page. I'm on the page I'm looking at.
No, you're supposed to be on the show.
What?
Remember,
am I getting paid
she
for
forgets
this?
we're on the air.
No, I didn't.
She forgets we're even talking
First of all, you don't even want me to be reading this right now.
I want you to comment.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Ruh-roh.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Trust me.
So to finish up...
And you're making me say no again, by the way, which I don't like.
Don't say no. Say yes.
Yes, I don't want to read that.
There you go. There's better. That's much better.
No. That's not fair.
No. What? You wanted to talk about something today. Do that now, because it's already 10
stabbing you with a fork?
Yeah, you always want to do that.
Okay. One of the things we were going to talk about was what people collect and how they came about collecting it.
Right.
But if nobody answers us on the chat, then we're not really going to have anything. So, people make fun of me for collecting the Pyrex. So, which I haven't actually bought any of in probably almost 2 years. But there was a little spree there where we bought a lot. But you were an enabler, so. Yeah. The way it happened was, what happened was, so I really, 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 really love Jadeite. I love the way that it looks. It's really classic. My mother and my grandmother didn't really have any old dishes. My mother had Tupperware, and my grandmother had Cool Whip containers, because she was in the Depression, and that's what she liked to save was Cool Whip containers. And as far as old dishes and things like that, you know how people say, oh, my grandmother had the coolest dishes, my mother had the coolest dishes, I love them. My relatives didn't have those things.
Nana did, though.
Well, no, she didn't.
Oh,
she didn't. No, she didn't. I have one piece of Pyrex that I have from hers that she used to make Jell-O in that I didn't even realize was Pyrex at the time. I just had it. So that was my literal...
It was like my butterfly dish. I never knew. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Nope. You got it.
Nope.
Just interjecting.
Nope. So the only really cool stuff that Nana had was her father used to sell Guardian Service cookware during the Depression, which was this really cool aluminum stuff that a lot of people seem to have, and I still have, and we still use from time to time. But so he would go around to all these places looking for jadeite, which, thank you, Martha Stewart, there is none to be found anymore because it used to be cheap as dirt, but because she decided she liked it, everybody else decided to buy it all up and collect it. And
damn you, Martha Stewart!
And it also became a thing in Japan. So a lot of it got bought up and sent over to Japan, never to be seen ever again, except in Japan. So while we were looking for this stuff,
I just thought of something funny though.
What?
Americans buy everything made in Japan. Japan buys everything made in America.
Well, not anymore, though. It's China now. It's not Japan. If you find things made in Japan now, they're probably antiques and collectibles, so you should probably...
Yeah, that's a shame. They've kind of gotten away from that kind of industry.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. They haven't gotten away from it. It's called... Their economy has changed.
Right.
But anyway.
There you go. More coffee. Yay.
So while we were looking for jadeite, my friend was like, "Oh, you should look at this. This is really cute. It's Pyrex. It's like comes in all these colors and it's really cute." And I think it was kind of also when it got to be like a very collectible thing again because it goes in cycles.
Everything does. It's cool.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of it. If anybody wants to buy any Pyrex, hit me up.
No, seriously, this woman has half a store.
No, I don't.
200
Stop
pieces?
selling my stuff without asking me.
You just said if anybody wants to buy anything.
But I didn't mean they could have everything or anything.
I didn't mean everything. I just meant some.
If you're looking for some Pyrex and you are looking for a specific piece.
You can probably find it if she does it on Nellis what?
Oh, Nellis Island.
There you go. Yeah. Put them on there.
Yeah, I will.
That's an idea.
No,
Thank you, Mr. Gershie. That was a good idea.
Except for the fact that I already have a page called Vintage Velma.
All right, or use Vintage Velma.
Vintage Velma.
Oh my God, you're going to confuse me and them.
Vintage Velma is where all my Pyrex goes.
All right, you're going to have to write all this down.
Okay, Vintage Velma is where all the Pyrex goes.
Where's Vintage Velma? On
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Just do a search. Nellis Island is more for like the recipes and cooking and such.
And where's Nellis Island?
On Facebook.
There you go. So you got to go to Facebook for those two pages.
Seriously, they're easy to find because all you do is type in. Yeah. So
Vintage
Velma is the Pyrex and other random antiquities.
Our producer Gershie says he collects soccer scarves, penguins, and birdhouses. And has a 105-inch TV screen in his living room. That picture made, his wife appears to be about as tall as you. Made her look tiny.
I'm not going to comment on that whatsoever.
Why?
Well, you know how like the little men with the big trucks?
Little women with big TVs?
Little men with big TVs. I said I wasn't going to comment on it. You made me.
Oh, no.
First, that was Chuck, not me.
No, he's also got an awesome sound system.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying. Well, you know why? Because he's got a house. He's also got his offices. I'll tell him about his man cave. His man cave is actually 2 bedrooms with a wall removed. I'm so jealous. If I took 2 bedrooms and removed the wall, there'd be 1 bedroom in the house.
So if you took 2 bedrooms and removed the wall, there would be no bedrooms in a house.
There would be 1. Oh, yeah, there's a man cave.
There would be no bedrooms in a house.
You could sleep in my man cave.
I could sleep in the camper if you did that.
Our camper is our spare bedroom, because we really have one of those small, tiny houses. Well, not tiny, but small houses. And we like it that way. No, Sadie, you can't join the show. So, let's see. Do you want to indulge into anything in politics today, ma'am, or not? I'm leaving that entirely up to you. Otherwise, we'll find another topic.
Wait, why does he collect penguins?
Oh, yeah, you collect penguins. You'll have to talk to me.
No, I don't collect penguins.
Well, you have a bunch.
I have penguins, but I don't collect penguins.
Right. That's true. They accidentally fell in the house.
No. I collect flamingos.
You do. You have started collecting flamingos.
No, not started.
Well, for a while.
All right. Wait, were we going to do, I forget, the brief politics thing?
Yeah, that's what I asked you. Do you want to talk about any topic of politics? I know what the topic of the...
We're not talking... You said you could talk about the wall. I'm not talking about the wall.
Okay, well, we won't talk about the wall then.
Because the wall is just a premise.
The wall is like the 800-pound gorilla hanging in everyone's...
No, it's not.
Politics right now.
No, it's not.
Oh, wow. Dershie says he has hundreds of penguins.
Like literally, or just...
Not real ones. Yeah, he owns a zoo. Will Dershie is actually Santa Claus and lives at the North Pole, and I just pretend to be Santa Claus for cover for Dershie.
Exactly.
Right, Dersh?
Well, our first Christmas ornament together is an angel penguin. So,
Yeah.
remember that one?
Yeah.
'Cause I found it on the floor the other day because the cat decided he wanted to eat it.
Yep, we've been
Yeah.
together 10 years. Awesome. Awesome sauce. All right, next topic. What do you want to talk about?
Why?
I'm just asking because you said you wanted to do one topic of politics, so I was going to give you the option of what you want to talk about.
We talked about it earlier today. It was like you could have the wall and I could have the not wall, and I can't remember what it was.
Lisa's for the wall and the not wall. I mean,
What?
I'm for the wall and she's for the not wall.
What?
What? That's what I said. You're for the
No,
not wall.
not a wall made of knots, just in case you're getting any other. In case you're getting any
Knotted
other ideas.
steel.
Yeah, knotted bamboo, because we're apparently scaling it down here.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Dennis in our message room
Honey,
says,
I can read.
I'm saying it for the people on the radio.
Oh, right.
You forgot about them again?
They should be here now reading it.
I know, they're not in our well, they are in our living room, but they're not physically standing.
I'm saying they should be on the page.
I know, they need to join us on patriotjournalist.com/Chuck Nellis, and you need to sign into the message because it's really good fun. Now Dennis says, I have some cool sports memorabilia. I have some Batman memorabilia, including lunchboxes, toys, comics, and such.
Cool.
I love Batman. I am Batman.
What drives me crazy, speaking of Jersey saying the Hallmark series ornaments?
Yeah.
You go to Goodwill and you see the boxes, and people have taken the ornament out of the boxes, and apparently either somebody's stolen the ornament,
Sadly,
or they
often they steal them.
or they just donate the box. Like, why would you donate the box?
And why would you put it on the freaking shelf?
Because Goodwill will put like a ketchup.
Hi, this is a box.
No. Goodwill will put like a ketchup packet on the shelf if you donate it to them. They're so sad.
Really?
Seriously,
That's
I
hilarious.
could take probably your whatever used underwear and donate it. And
Oh no, that would be a big thing on the internet apparently.
Well, no, only if it had your name on it.
Well, no, there's some pervs out there that buy used underwear.
Mostly women's, not yours.
Well, they might.
But
I
that's
am
a
Chuck.
whole other story. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Taking it back, I've seen like used food containers.
Used.
Well, I mean, they're clean,
Well,
but they're empty.
Right.
On the shelf at Goodwill.
That's funny. On empty McDonald's kids meal.
Well, no, not like that. I'm saying empty plastic thing of like French onions or from the stuff you put in green bean casserole.
Yeah. And it's not like the old Welch's jelly glasses where you really do want to keep them. They're just trash you're talking about.
Random stupid crap.
Garbage.
Oh, and the other thing that drives me crazy is the stuff from the dollar store that they charge more than $1 for at the Goodwill or wherever, but mostly the Goodwill.
Okay.
So everybody thinks their stuff is worth more.
I will make this for Coach. I'm going to make this statement because I love Coach. He's a great guy. I'm glad to help the cause. PJ.net, you guys rock. I've been a member of you guys with God since I first heard about you. 8 years ago? You'll tell me, Coach.
I don't know what FEPA is. Can you explain that?
All right. Politics. PJ.net has partnered with a group of concerned citizens to oppose FEPA that expands federal agencies and empowers them to collect data on citizens without the consent of the citizen. It becomes law after the 12th unless the president vetoes it. I would expect he'd veto it, don't you? I don't know. What do you think, Lacey?
You can't ask me about something that I don't know anything about. Hold on. I can't comment on that because I have nothing good to say.
Was that the Federal EPA Act thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Fair Employment Practices Agencies?
Oh, okay.
That is, unless I'm off base, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
All right, well, Coach will tell me more about that, I'm sure.
No, I'm not going to comment on something I don't know.
Right. It's better not to. I don't know enough about it to make an intelligent comment. I'll be honest with you about that, Coach. If you fill me in, I'll be glad to discuss that again next time.
Well, it could be too late next time.
Oh, that's true.
Talk about it on Twitter.
I'll talk about it on Twitter. You know I got your back, Coach. Whenever you want me to retweet something, I do. Again, I am Chuck Nellis.
What's your name on Twitter?
I am NASCAR. NACAR. Chuck.
Any what?
NASCAR. I'm going
For
too
people
fast.
that don't know how to spell
I don't know how to spell. NASCAR. Chuck. CHUCK. What?
Go ahead.
What did I do wrong?
No, keep going.
CHUCK. 336. And I'll give you a clue. The area code. And that's me.
Oh, no,
and
now
Lisa.
they all know where we live.
Oh my God, we've been doxxed so many times on Twitter. Everyone in the world knows where we live.
But yeah, that's why you got kicked off.
Yeah, I got kicked off because I got doxxed. And then I doxed the guy back who doxed me. And they kicked me off for that. And it was all public record, so I did not break any rules. No. For the record.
By the way, you can pretty much look up anywhere anybody lives
you can find
they
anybody.
own a house.
Yeah, you can find anybody.
Imagine
Coach,
that.
you'll have to give me a good if it's from Ryan. Oh, no.
Not today.
Not today. We'll get to that another time. We'll talk about the results of it next week. Dennis said he got to meet Adam West about a year and a half before he passed away.
Cool.
Very nice gentleman. He loved to meet people, from what I understood. He really relished the role of being Batman.
That was basically the whole rest of his life.
And you know what? That's the Batman I loved. I mean, the TV Batman show was the best ever. It was so cartoonish almost in its nature and tongue-in-cheek. Well, it was. It was tongue-in-cheek.
You know what the word is?
It was campy as hell. It was
exactly.
campy. It was campy as hell. I mean, Batman and Robin, both the characters, Batman is really very flamboyantly gay.
But he doesn't know it.
No, he knew it.
No, he didn't know it. Yeah. That's the funny part. No, he didn't. Yeah. No, he didn't.
Oh, you mean during the show?
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, at that time he didn't.
Right, no, he didn't know it.
That's like my friend Pat. I knew him for a long time, and I said, dude.
And then you turned him gay.
I said, dude, did you realize you're gay? And he goes, no, I'm not. And he turns out he is. So
you made him gay.
The original Batmobile is on display at a car museum in Tallahassee. I remember when it sold on Barrett Jackson, but the original one they used on the show. Sold on Barrett Jackson. I think that's where it went. What a great show. What a great series. Speaking of that, I was talking about, I started bringing it up earlier.
But what was it? Big Bang?
Big Bang. You can watch that show. Any episode. 10 years of it or 8 years of it. And it's always good. All right. So, it's 10:27.
Kind of like Golden Girls?
Oh, I love Golden Girls.
That'll be for next week.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about Broadway? Nah.
No, that'll be next week.
We'll talk about Broadway again.
Broadway will always be there.
You're so funny. Lisa refuses to have a camera. I want to have a camera because we'd be hilarious.
No.
Because
then I have to stop eating.
Why?
Because people will call me fat like they do on Twitter.
But you're not fat.
I might be.
But you're not. That's the point.
Why are there dead people on my TV?
Oh, because they're showing Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh.
This is that thing I was watching from Nova.
Oh. Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching more intellectual TV program because so much on TV is just garbage.
Let's watch The Voice. Let's watch American Idol.
Yeah.
You're not watching football, so you might as well watch smart stuff.
Yeah. Well, the football, almost 4 years now without watching any of it.
It's actually not quite 3 because I went back and left, but it's okay.
Okay, 3 years without any football.
Wait, without any
NFL.
Because
college football. I want to finish the show by talking about Clemson. Sorry, my Alabama friends, but Clemson kicked your butt.
Oh my
God, it was ugly. I mean, it was from a Clemson side, it was an amazing game, and they deserved it, and they kicked butt. But I really kind of felt sorry for my Alabama friends.
I'll be back next year.
Oh, no, the whole team's back.
Well, the offense anyway.
Right.
Sorry, I made you lose your train of thought.
No,
sorry for your Alabama friends.
Yeah, sorry for my Alabama friends. That had to be tough to stomach. Tommy said his roommate's a Bama fan, and he left the room and went to bed before halftime.
That's you know what? I've been known to do that when
you have.
When Duke's gotten trounced in basketball during one of the many times they've played in the finals.
Final 8.
No, final anything.
Holy crap, Dershey. Sorry. I don't think that's $1. By the way, Jesus, I love you. I don't spend enough time in the show talking about you.
Jesus was in our chat room?
Jesus is in our chat room every single day in our living room. And
hey, Jesus, I know you.
She's raising her hand.
Santa, I know him. Jesus, I know him.
You do. You do. Lisa Nellis. Hey, go sign in again. You just left the chat room again. What'd you do? Click off of it again?
Probably. We're over.
She's a squirrel. It's 10:30 and she thinks because it's 10:30, I'll just leave.
Exactly.
Come back.
No,
we're not done.
I'm done.
You're done.
No, have the Chuck show now.
Chuck show? No, I don't have Dershey on the line. If I could have Dershey talking, then I would do the Chuck and Dershey show. Dershey and I are going to do a show. It's going to be soon. We got to figure out what day, what time.
Right, because I have to go somewhere else that day.
Maybe that'll be that day that you do the class.
The class?
What did you say, on Friday?
The class of the class? I'm not going to do the same class every... Nobody wants to listen to you guys on Friday.
No, I wouldn't want to listen. You don't want to listen to me any day.
I don't want to listen to you on Friday. Exactly.
Anyway, Dershey has met all the cast members of the original Star Trek series and the guy who designed the Enterprise. I have all their autographs except Shatner because he charged $15 for it, jerk. I went jogging at breakfast with George Takei, too. George Takei, really? I've had some battles with that clown on Twitter.
I'm not a clown.
Okay, I've had some battles with that guy on Twitter. One of the millions I've had, I'll admit, because I'm a little confrontational with people when it comes to politics.
Hey, if anybody wants to come run a 5K with me in February.
Where are we going to be?
Oak Island.
Oak Island, North Carolina, February what?
Day before Daytona 500. February 16th.
February 16th.
Really early in the morning. I'm going to be there, and I'm probably going to be wearing a tutu, so.
And I guarantee I won't be there, but I might be wearing a tutu anyway.
But you'll show up at the end and come pick me up.
I'll show up with coffee. I'll be sipping my coffee at the end and hand you yours like the commercial.
You're seriously invited, so.
No, seriously, if anybody wants to come to Oak Island in February.
Unless you're a stalker.
It's a quiet time down there, so you could easily get a hotel room if you wanted to.
Not expensive. Or you could go to Bald Head.
And what's the charity it's for again?
Oh.
Come on, you're doing it.
I don't know.
You got it.
To do with cancer.
You got this.
No, seriously, that was not fair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had it on hand.
No, I didn't have it on hand.
Okay, well anyway, more details to follow.
It's for a charity.
We'll tell you about it more next week. I love doing charities. Anything else anybody wants to do? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Should we say goodnight, Lisa?
Goodnight, Lisa.
Well, everybody, as always, it's been a fun, and an hour goes way too fast, and I don't know if we covered what we planned on or not. But it's always good.
Who cares?
Who cares? It's the Chuck and Lisa show, and you're hanging out with us in our living room, and this is really how we are. I don't care who's in charge. I'm not that kind of guy. Lisa can have the star position if she wishes it.
I don't want it.
That's why she makes me do most of the talking.
Right, because you cannot shut up.
You put me in front of a microphone. I will talk for eternity.
We're going to do this one, Knights of Columbus. We love Knights of Columbus.
Okay, don't start anything else yet. All right, say goodnight, Lisa.
Shut up, Chuck.
No, say goodnight, Lisa.
Shut up, Chuck.
All right. Goodnight, Lisa. And Obama still sucks.
Shut up, Chuck.